On this episode of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson, Candace Owens destroys Piers Morgan in a heated debate on his own channel. Tyla dodges race questions on The Breakfast Club. And the WNBA is set to lose $50 million by the end of the 2024 season. All that and more on episode 67 of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
I'd rather get it out the mud than get it for free. I'd rather settle it up front than run and retreat. I son these niggas just for fun, no need for caprice. And if you tell me that I'm done, you must think I'm deceased. With every breath I take, I'm taking it further. Fuck the world a couple times and deserter. Killing niggas off with every word. I'm talking first degree murder. Just sit back, relax, be the observer. See niggas really want me out of line. I'm seeing the signs. Every time I speak what's on my mind, I'm reaching divine. No, I need my mental realign, so I'm taking my time. But I can't let these people just define what they don't understand. I'm a real nigga, it's deep in my veins. And if you cut me open right now, you'd understand the reason I speak with the pain. I know a lot of people seek my defeat and it's strange, cause they gon' be the real reason I peak with the fame. All these opinions from people who never made it, I truly would rather speak with the greatest. I'm talking Drake, Cole, and Lil Wayne. Man, I know I ain't famous, but I'ma make them seek me out when they play this. The name is King Art, reppin' that Southeast. Niggas always doubt me, but I keep it real. Other niggas hella mouthy. Pillow talking niggas always saying shit about me. Every time we bring it up, the conversation get cloudy, so I learn to move different. I never ask for permission, only forgiveness from the people who would choose to listen. A lot of niggas turn their back, I guess they mood switching. I tried to hold it all in, but man, it's too tempting. Listen, we don't compare, I thought you knew different. I thought you knew better than this, I guess you fools slipping. See, jealousy gon' take control and have you tomb digging. And we gon' leave you in that bowl like the spoon missing.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson. I am your host, Trip Simpson, in the building.
The first of his name, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm.
That's right. Before we get this live stream started tonight, first and foremost, you know good and well, we got to handle business. Let's get it.
Family moving up in the business. I know you're gonna look after family.
What family you talking about, Ice?
Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
That's right, I am not invisible, so if you're watching live on YouTube tonight, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tap that notification and that notification bell and hit all. Sheesh. If you're watching live on X, better known as Twitter, hit that heart button, hit that retweet button. And if you are watching live on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that share button. And no matter what platform you're watching on, ladies and gentlemen, utilize the live chat below. Let's help this video get off into the algorithm. Let's go. All right. So, we got a very interesting show for you tonight. Got a lot of topics I want to discuss tonight. At first, I want to start with a little boring stuff. For those of you that think it's boring, I don't think it's boring. I think it's actually very interesting. But I want to talk about some world politics first, and then we'll get into the other shit. The petrodollar is no more. The petrodollar is no more. Now, when I say petrodollar, do y'all even know what I'm talking about? When I say petrodollar, do you even know what I'm referring to? Well, in case you don't, let me get you up to speed. So basically, it's one of the staples of the United States of America's economy. It's a deal that was made between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia that requires that any oil bought or purchased from them must be purchased using the U.S. dollar. Now, this has been in place since 1974. And that's why Saudis and the ruling class of the United States have been tight for decades. In fact, the Saudi embassy is actually guarded by the U.S. Secret Service. No other embassy has that type of protection. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to get into this article real quick so we can take a deeper look at this, and then I'll get into my commentary on it. So without wasting any more time, let's get into that. All right, here we go. Let's get that whole screen. All right, boom. So Saudi Arabia's petrodollar exit. A global finance paradigm shift. All right, so it says, originally signed on June 8, 1974, the deal established between the two joint commissions based on economic cooperation and the other on Saudi Arabia's military needs at the time. At the time, it was said that it was heralded as an era of close cooperation between two countries, says Katja Hamilton of Biz Community. American officials at the time expressed optimism that the deal would motivate Saudi Arabia to ramp up its oil production. They also envisioned it as a blueprint for fostering economic collaboration between Washington and other Arab countries. The crucial decision to not renew the contract enables Saudi Arabia to sell oil and other goods in multiple currencies, including the Chinese RMB, euros, yen, and yuan, instead of exclusively in US dollars. Additionally, the potential of use of digital currencies like Bitcoin may also be considered. This latest development signifies a major shift away from the petrodollar system established in 1972, when the US decoupled its currency from gold, and it's anticipated to hasten the global shift away from the US dollar. Now we're going to stop right there because that's all we really need to know. All right, I'll put that article in the description box below if you want to read it later. But yes, that's what we're going on. That's what's going on. So there we have it. All right, we got a border crisis. We got inflation through the roof. We got crime at an all-time high. Public school test scores at all-time lows. And major wars going down with almost all of our allies. And now we've lost our grip on the industry that we've dominated for the past 100 years easily. That being the oil industry, right? We've had this game on lock easily for the past 100 years. And what's the goddamn president doing? What's the president doing? I'll show you what this motherfucker's doing. This is what the president is doing. Give me a second. Let me show you what Joe Biden is doing while all this mess is going on.
Now, what?
Let me show you what he's doing. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me switch the screen. Let me show you what Joe Biden is doing while this is going on. This is what Joe Biden is doing. That's what the president's doing. That's what the president's doing. Let me see if I can get a bigger screen on this. Let me see if I can get a bigger screen on this. Give me 1 second. Y'all gotta see this up close, man. Y'all gotta see this up close. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, we need an up close video of this. All right, let's go. Here we go. That's what the president's doing. Oh, here we go. All right, that's what the president's doing right now. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Now let's freeze it right there. Let's freeze it right there. Okay? Let's freeze it right there. So what do we have here? This picture is worth at least at least 1,000 words. At least 1,000 words. We've got this idiot, senile, liberal president, his strong, independent, do-nothing queen of a vice president, her cuck husband, and this thing wearing a dress with the dreadlocks.
The first of his name, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm.
Do y'all see this? Our enemies have to be foaming at the mouth. No Diddy.
I got that thug in love.
Our enemies got to be foaming at the mouth at this point. All right? And as a matter of fact, they're definitely foaming at the mouth. They're definitely foaming at the mouth. Peep this shit out. Peep this shit out, man. Let's go, man.
Russia is flexing its military muscles in Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida. A Russian nuclear submarine and 3 other ships entered Havana Harbor yesterday to conduct military exercises.
While Joe Biden is dancing with drag queens for Juneteenth, this is what Russia's doing. This is what Russia's doing. Let's go.
It was really hard not to think of the Cuban Missile Crisis that brought the U.S. and Russia to the brink of war back in 1962 when we saw these headlines. David Martin is tracking the maneuvers and the U.S. response.
A surface warship and a nuclear-powered submarine arrived in Havana to a 21-gun salute, beginning what the U.S. expects to be the largest Russian military exercises in the Caribbean in 5 years.
I don't care what none of you people say. This shit's not going down on Trump's watch. Yo, these are the consequences of wanting a nigga to talk nice to you. These are the consequences. Look at this.
U.S. officials say the exercises will also include flights by Russian long-range bombers along the East Coast.
It certainly wouldn't come as a surprise to us if we see more activity around the United States.
The 4-ship Russian flotilla has already passed just 30 miles off the coast of Florida as it made its way down from the North Atlantic to the Caribbean. The warship has been used in the past to test fire one of Russia's newest hypersonic missiles. The submarine is also designed to carry guided missiles, but U.S. officials say there is no indication it is carrying nuclear weapons.
We, of course, take it seriously, but these exercises don't pose a threat to the United States.
The Russian ships have been shadowed by a small U.S. Navy task force consisting of 2 destroyers along with 2 vessels specifically fitted with sonar for tracking submarines, patrol planes.
All right, that's enough of that, man. That's enough of that, man. So like I said, while Russia's doing that, Joe Biden's doing this. Now, at this point, there is nothing you sensitive ass Negroes can tell me about politics. There's nothing you can tell me about politics. Joe Biden is going down as the worst president in history. And if you're seriously considering voting for this nigga, you lost your mind. And why? Just because you think he isn't as racist as Trump. Just because you think he isn't as racist as Trump, you're a moron, and your priorities are completely out of whack. Let me get this straight, though. You people would rather see your own country completely fall off under this idiot just because he comes off as less racist. Y'all niggas crazy, man. It's Trump 2024 all day over here.
Look at my African American over here. Look at
all
him.
day.
Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
Matter of fact, I'm going to show you how I feel about this. This is exactly how I feel about you Biden sexuals hating on the Don. Let's go.
And you gonna get off his corners? You gonna leave his people be? Or you the one that's gonna find yourself a new plug?
You don't mean that shit?
The fuck I don't. I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
Whoa, Lord, man. All right, let's next topic. I can talk about that shit all day. All right. Now, speaking of poor leadership and bad decision making, let's talk about the WNBA. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching live on YouTube, do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and hit that share button. If you're watching live on Twitter, and we deep on Twitter, shout out to Twitter, hit that retweet button. Hit that retweet button and help this video get off into the algorithm. All right, now let's go. Now, nothing personifies the plight of modern women more accurately than the WNBA. Now, they say that modern women are allergic to accountability. I'd go even further with that, especially when it comes to the women of the WNBA. I don't even think they've ever heard of the goddamn term. On one hand, right? On one hand, and I mean, look, let me say this real quick before I get too far off into my shit, right? Let me say this. It's crazy to me the level of entitlement these women have. It's crazy to me the level of entitlement that these women have. Most of these teams can't even sell out a 5,000 seat arena. But then they expect to be treated like high level NBA players, even though the revenue isn't there. Now, finally, a glimmer of hope in Caitlin Clark sparks up, and then they just outright disregard her, even though she's the reason that anyone is even discussing this bum-ass league. So instead of protecting and promoting their star player, the entire league is hell-bent on discrediting her. There's no way in hell she shouldn't have been on the U.S. Olympic team. The women's U.S. Olympic team has won 7 or 8 straight gold medals. They are practically unbeatable. It would have been the perfect opportunity to promote the WNBA's new star player, But they dropped that ball, no pun intended. And honestly, I think it's too late for them at this point. If I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm collecting my $28 million shoe deal. I'm going to complete my obligation with the Indiana Fever, and then I'm bouncing. This league has proven over and over and over again that they don't deserve any of the things that they are whining about. Case in point. Check out this video. One second. Jesus, man. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, no, we still flew a normal flight on the way up here, which is not good. I think on the way home, we finally get our charter. With that, we always, we're grateful. Do not get me wrong. We are so grateful that we're able to start chartering. But with that, there's a lot of things that need to be adjusted. Our bags and some of our people can't fly with us because our charter is too small, while other teams get big planes. We want to talk about a competitive advantage. Well, that's one right there, that our team has to be split up and our bags don't even get to travel with us. And so the social media makes everything sound so great and so butterflies and rainbows now that we got the charters, but half the teams don't even have a proper charter to fly with your whole team. So we are grateful, but there's still work to be done. And I do think that we do get a charter home tonight, which is good. But again, not everyone gets to come with us. So still needs room for improvement.
Bro, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Somehow, some way, this is the fault of the patriarchy. Somehow, some way, this is discrimination against women. Y'all got your own damn league with your own coaches and players and plenty of women in leadership roles. And it's society's fault why y'all can't sell tickets. It's society's fault why y'all can't generate enough revenue for higher salaries and bigger charter jets. Bro, this league is currently $50 million in the hole for the 2024 season alone. 50 million. And they're talking shit about chartered flights. You can't even get 300 people in a seat to watch you shoot fucking 20-foot jumpers all day and miss layups and can't dunk. And you talking about a chartered flight. Like, they just don't get it, bro. They don't get it. They don't understand how any of this works. So I'm telling you, a matriarchy or some all women's country would never rule anything because they don't get it. The reason that the NBA gets charter jets and $1 million salaries is because they put asses in seats. People want to come see the game. And literally, you guys are literally sabotaging the only hope you have for people wanting to come see your game. You're sabotaging it. But there we have it, man. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to read this article real quick, just so y'all don't think I'm crazy and y'all don't think I'm making any of this stuff up. They are $50 million. $50 million in the hole. Already. All right? Let's get it. All right, let me widen this article out so we can. All right, there we go. Can y'all see that? All right, good. All right, so it says the WNBA is on track to lose roughly $50 million this year despite explosion in popularity. Although the WNBA is experiencing a level of exposure not seen since its inception, the league is expected to lose $50 million this season. In a report from the Washington Post, a number of sources talked about the NBA's next media rights deal and how the WNBA factors into it. According to them, some potential bidders have not assigned figures to the WNBA specifically, meaning the league's rising popularity may not be much of a factor in how much money it receives in the deal. While some sources within the league hope to one day have media deals separate from the NBA, others pointed to the benefits of partnering with the NBA. So pause real quick. It's men's fault, men's fault, men's fault. But without the men's league, you wouldn't even exist. You wouldn't even be on TV because the stations don't even want to pick you up. The NBA has to make you a part of their package just to get you on TV. People want the NBA so bad, they are willing to, I guess, fine, we'll throw on some WNBA games. That's how much that league is trash. Let's finish the article. While some sources within the league hope to one day have media deals separate from the NBA, others pointed out the benefits of partnering with the NBA, like sharing resources, cross-promoting, and using the NBA's massive fan base to help grow the WNBA's. Revenue is also an integral part of the conversation. As noted in the report, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver revealed in 2018 that the WNBA lost an average of $10 million each year since it began. That figure, according to two sources, will rise to around $50 million this year. It's not explicitly revealed why the WNBA will operate at a bigger loss this year, but the inclusion of chartered flights may be a factor. And I'm going to stop right there, man. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop at the charter flights, right? So there we have it. Bottom line, they are going to double down. Well, if they're not going to double down on the Caitlin Clark promotion, and really fuel this beef with her and Angel Reese, the WNBA is doomed for failure. If they're not going to do that, there's no hope. It's literally the only thing that gets people interested in this league. It's similar to the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird situation. All right, if you're not familiar with that situation, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird feuded in college, and they carried it on to the NBA, and the NBA marketed the hell out of it. The NBA used that rivalry to basically build up interest in the league. And then boom, out of nowhere, one day, we got a Michael Jordan, and the rest was history. So, if the NBA is serious about getting better and building up interest in their league, then they will cultivate the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese situation. And even if they don't cultivate that, they definitely need to cultivate Caitlin Clark because she's the best they got, and she's all anyone's talking about. Take her out the league, nobody gives a damn. Cry to your moms. I don't care. All right, let's get to the next topic. All right, so up next, we have an extremely awkward moment at the Breakfast Club. Okay, so recently, the Breakfast Club brought on Afrobeat star Tyla, who hails from South Africa, from South Africa, and Charlamagne the God asked her a question about her ethnicity, and the whole conversation just kind of took an awkward turn, took a real weird turn from there. And I think that this sparks a very interesting conversation that black folks don't like to have a lot of times. But before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and roll the videotape. And then we'll get into our discussion. All right? All right, let's get it.
Can we not? Por favor.
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too.
Shut up, man.
I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. I like the character. That's good. That's even better.
Let me start that over. All right, come on.
School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
Can we? Yeah. Can we not? Por favor.
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too.
Shut up, man.
I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. I like the character. That's good. That's even better. All right, Tyla.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
No.
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 Good?
I'm good. Why you guys?
We got some more.
Because the label, I want you to know this for other interviews, right? Okay. When they go in and they tell like the interviewers what to say and what not to say, this and that, that's what makes it awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Are you awkward?
No.
I'm not awkward.
Mm-mm. You want to see all the questions they told us not to ask?
Yo, leave her alone, man. Stop
This
it.
one must leave the room.
Stop it. My goodness.
This one must go.
It's the worst ever working with him. I work with him every day.
Yeah.
Well, Tyla's album is
Much
out
success
right now.
to you, Tyla.
Yes,
Thank
girl.
Wow. So, all right. So, even though it was clearly an awkward moment, right? Clearly an awkward moment between Charlamagne God, DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, and Tyla. There are so many unspoken gems that were dropped in this very, very short clip. Black folks, understand, right, that our level of race obsession is not a shared experience for the rest of the quote-unquote black world. I am really mad at Tyla or mad at Tyla's people for shutting that shit down. That shit with the race, with the whole thing with her race, that's gonna go over so many people's heads in the United States that I think it's a good thing that they shut it down, because a lot of people just don't really understand what's going on over there in South Africa. And honestly, it's not even worth the conversation. So yeah, her people had to gate that shit, because if she would have really started trying to explain it, it would have certainly got her canceled by black Americans. Straight up. And it appears if that's the crowd that she's trying to appeal to right now in her career. So it wouldn't have been a good idea. So yeah, I get it, right? But also, it's interesting to note. Black folks should use this as a lesson in the false ideology of Pan-Africanism. Now let's rewind back to the early 1990s. Black folks in America were some of the most vocal people in the entire world when it came to exposing the injustices of the apartheid era. Turn around, 25 years later? And them people care more about being closer to their European colonizers than they do being closer to you. And that's totally fine with me. But see, our problem as black folks in America is, we make issues of oppressed, we make it our issue when oppressed non-white people across the globe are in conflict. And the whole time, they're not our problem at all. As black people in America, our biggest issue ain't the white man or colonizers at all. Our biggest issue is single mother households. Straight up. I I don't care what problem you point to in the black community. It all goes back to the household and the fact that it is not complete and that there's no authority present in at least 70% of our households. That's the problem. It just is what it is. And the stats don't lie. So while you niggas is out here worrying about a country of niggas who let less than 10% of their population rule every aspect of their society, you need to be fixing your own shit. While you niggas are out here worried about a war in the Middle East that's got absolutely nothing to do with you, you should be worried about fixing your own shit. You ain't facing a genocide. You ain't facing apartheid. You're facing a nigga-cide. And it's kicking your ass on a daily basis. And you sitting up here worried about other people's shit. Man, let them handle their own shit. You don't gotta identify with Tyla just cause she a black guy. Whatever, man. The music is good. That's all I identify with. But all this Pan-African nonsense, man, you niggas is too obsessed with race and it's not gonna get you anywhere. Instead of being obsessed with race and trying to identify with all these motherfuckers across the whole world, nigga, identify with your ethnic group. Instead of trying to identify and sympathize and compare oppression, why don't you identify what the problem is? The problem is that your family unit is broken. And since your family unit is broken, your community will be broken. It's that simple. This shit ain't rocket science. You don't need Dr. Umar Johnson to build you a Pan-African school to get the point. Stop making bastard babies. I know it sounds harsh and I ain't trying to be harsh. Our community literally thinks that that's the okay way to be. That's the way to live. I see so many gender reveals and baby showers on my social media timeline. It don't make no damn sense. I ain't seen near wedding from none of you niggas. Where the weddings at? Oh damn, no damn baby shower, man. And you know what else? You know what else niggas is doing to make up for the fact that they ain't had no wedding? They spending thousands and thousands of dollars on their kids' proms. Them little niggas ain't even going to college. And if they are going to college, they going to college with thousands of dollars in loans. But you spending thousands and thousands of dollars renting Lamborghinis and all this extravagant bullshit just to post on social media. Man, let me get back on topic. I could go on and all day. We're going to go ahead and get to the last topic of the night, though. We're going to get to the last topic of the night. And that's going to be about Candace Owens. Shout out to Candace Owens, yo. Candace Owens has been on fire this week. That's right. She just started her podcast back up this week, free from the Daily Wire, and she's back like she's never left. And also, she's almost at 2 million subs on YouTube, and the views have been going crazy. So yeah, salute to Candace Owens. Now, in addition to the success of her channel this week, she was also a guest on Piers Morgan's show. And man, oh man, in my humble opinion, she obliterated this joker. Now, I'm not going to play the entire 1 hour interview because we just ain't got that type of time tonight. But I've got a few select parts of the interview I want to highlight tonight. But also, if you're interested, I'll post the entire interview in the description just in case you want to go back and watch the whole thing for yourself. I'll put the link there. But nonetheless, we're going to go through what I think are some of the most interesting parts of the interview. And then hopefully we'll take some calls. And we'll do it like that. So, without wasting any more time, let's get to the video. All right, here we go.
Never, ever, ever describe Jewish people as a whole as filth. I don't know what the context of that is. Is he referring to the Rabbi Barclay interview? But just to be clear, on my record here, I have had wonderful relationships with Jewish people all throughout my life. Before I was at Daily Wire, I was at PragerU, and as Prager, Marissa Straight run that company. Marissa Straight is a former IDF soldier. That woman treated me like gold. We never had any issues whatsoever. They were wonderful to me. So I genuinely don't know the context of where or why he said that, but I'm just acknowledging that he said the word filth and that I used the word filth to describe Rabbi Shmuley, who you have had on the show. And I just want to make it clear to everyone watching that Rabbi Shmuley is in fact a piece of filth.
Right, but you would not support
And real quick, let me tell you something. Candace Owens is just so straightforward and to the point, and she does it respectfully. Like, I don't know how people hate this woman. Like, most of 97% of the shit that she says makes 100% sense to me. We disagree on little things here and there, but for the most part, this woman is spot on, man. And she's got more balls than most of you dudes.
Full-fledged war against the Jews.
No, no. Or any, by the way, I also would not support a full-fledged war against Muslims. I'm not supporting a full-fledged war against Christians. And there are some full-fledged wars being launched against Christians.
So do you feel uncomfortable? So a reasonable question is, do you feel uncomfortable about having support from people like Nick Fuentes then?
I think it is a absolute nonsense for people. I have on Twitter alone 5.5 million followers. I think it's pointedly ridiculous when people do this and they find a comment and they go, do you feel uncomfortable about the fact that this person said this? I've had the FBI working with me because there are people that read my tweets and believe that we are in a relationship. I had a person who literally left a mental facility because he thought every single one of my tweets was a sign of love. I was speaking in code to him. What I'm not going to do is respond to this tactic of pretending that I'm somehow responsible for the 20 million followers and that I should be knowing what they are saying on their private platforms or their personal platforms or their public platforms every minute of every day. It's a nonsense. You know it's nonsense right now, Piers. If I went into your comments and dug it up and said, do you support this? And let's just not do that.
Well, no,
hold
but
me
Nick
accountable for the things. Hold me accountable
Nick
for the
Fuentes
things
is not
that
just
I
one
say.
of your 20 million followers. Nick Fuentes has millions of followers himself.
Where does he have? No, stop. Where does he have millions of followers? What platform?
Multiple platforms.
No. He's banned.
He's banned from.
This is
now.
very interesting to me because
he's banned from X now. Yeah, he wasn't.
He
before.
does not have. No. He was actually. He does not have. He was banned from YouTube. He was banned from X. He was banned from what is the He's literally been banned from everywhere. So when you say something like that, I'm asking you which platform. You just made a statement. He has millions of followers.
Well, what I
think you're being hyperbolic.
Yeah.
Which platform does Nick Fuentes have millions of followers on?
Well, he doesn't now. He's been banned.
No. Where? Which platform did he ever have millions of followers on? He is on X. He does not have millions of followers. So which platform did he ever have millions of followers on?
Well, how many followers has he got?
Okay, so you don't even know the answer. So you're just being hyperbolic again. You're creating an argument.
Bro, she's going to wipe the floor with this dude throughout the whole interview. I just want y'all to see this. Man. Piers Morgan is an idiot, and Candace Owens is wiping the floor with his ass. He's just throwing out statements out there, hoping to catch her up because he thinks that she's stupid, and she's knocking the shit out the park all day.
I am responsible
My point was not about a specific number of his followers.
He's not just. He's
My
got
point is
millions.
he has
That's
a-
just not true.
He has a follower.
Piers, it's just simply not true.
Candace, he's
And I answered your question again. You asked me a statement about what he said, and if I agreed with it, I told you no. I would never want a war against the Jews.
No, but my question
I
was,
answered your question.
do you
ask
feel
me
like...
what I think, and
Yeah, but
ask me whether I want to
my
respond
question
to
is,
something,
do you feel...
whether I agree with something.
My question was, do you feel uncomfortable about him supporting you? He's a high-profile person, and he said that. Do you feel comfortable, given the context of how you left for Daily Wire and their belief...
I want to be clear.
Yeah.
I do not know what is the context of what you just said to me. As I just said to you, if it was pertaining to Rabbi Shmuley, who I think is a piece of filth, who has gotten away with everything in the media, then I am grateful that people are understanding that that man has harassed me for 2 years. And I am grateful that for any person that has supported me in responding to Rabbi Shmuley and his hag daughter, okay? If you are going to pointedly ask me if I am uncomfortable with the fact that Nick Fuentes also believes that Christ is king, I want every single person in the world to declare Christ is king. Whether you believe them to be a Nazi, a white supremacist, a Jew, a Muslim, it is the phrase itself that I want declared.
Good God. I'm telling you. See, Piers Morgan is a clown. And he did the same shit with, he tried to do the same shit with Andrew Tate. And everybody that he interviews that leans more red pill, like all the way right. He tries to bombard you with all these ridiculous statements and try to make you knock each and every one of them out the park. What Candace is doing is perfect, because she's picking a particular statement and she's taking her time and she's breaking them down one by one instead of trying to answer everything at one time. Let's go.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
Let's turn to, I would say, a less contentious matter, but it's not really. It's Kanye West. I interviewed him at length towards the end of last year. You've been pretty supportive of Ye, formerly Kanye West, even after he tweeted DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. He posted, I'm a bit sleepy tonight, when I wake up I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. And you wrote on the social media site Parler, if you're an honest person, you do not think this tweet was anti-Semitic. I mean, I don't know, why would you conclude that? Because it seems to me it's a pretty brazen statement of anti-Semitism to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. How else could it possibly how else could it be construed?
Yeah, sure. I can tell you how else it can be construed, because this is one of the things that's fascinating. First, I'd like to point to how interesting it is that the entire world came down on Kanye West, canceled him, took away his contracts, made his entire family come out and make statements against him when he tweeted that he was going to go DEFCON 3 on some Jewish people, I think is what he wrote verbatim. And now we fast forward to today when Israel is literally going DEFCON 3 on Palestinians.
He didn't say some, he said on Jewish people.
Okay, sure. And now we fast forward to today when Israel is literally going DEFCON 3 on Palestinians, and those same media members seem extremely cautious in their language. So the tweet is actual death, but the actual bombs being dropped, for some reason, real violence is something that the media can get comfortable with.
Now, even though I just got finished telling you we shouldn't be worried about people over there, she's making a great point. Even though I don't think that as black folks, or really as Americans, period, that we should be worried about funding Israel's war or who the Palestine or marching for Palestinians. You also can't argue with Candace's point right there, which is they are doing these things to the Palestinians. Now, do I think that we need to go march in front of the Palestinians and take the bullet? Hell no, let them handle their own beef. But they are doing these things, and those things are definitely wrong. But it seems like most people who have a public platform are scared to point those things out. Candace is not.
I like to point to that because now some time has passed. But to answer your question of how I could have said that statement, obviously, you understand Ye is my friend, and I understood what was happening in his life and what had caused him to say that. He said when he woke up, he was going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Who's talking about specific Jewish people in his life that he believed had been taking advantage of him. And he then produced, and for whatever reason, the media was not interested in covering it extensively, a tweet from one of those people, Harley Pasternak, threatening to put him on a Psych 5150 hold and to drug him, and so that his visits with his kids wouldn't be the same. How Harley Pasternak has not been chased out of Hollywood after threatening to drug someone and take their kids away is the question that you should be asking. Now, I was privy not only to what Harley Pasternak was saying to him, but also to what 4 other happened to be Jewish people were saying to him at that time. And I think what happened is that he snapped and he suddenly wanted to aggressively attack those individuals and basically say that he was tired.
Yeah, but Candace, none of that changes the fact that what he tweeted was clearly anti-Semitic.
And like I said, arguing with this guy is like arguing with a brick wall. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip ahead to the COVID conversation. We'll listen to a little bit of that, and then we'll wrap this up.
Idea that a Jewish man would threaten to drug someone so that they couldn't see their family. Is that outrageous? Is that anti-black? Do you think that that's racist?
Well, whatever the circumstances of that wasn't.
No. Piers, answer the question because you're quick to say that a threat that you perceived, the language of him saying that he was going to go DEFCON 3, and just to be clear, DEFCON 3 is a defensive military position on.
Real quick, notice he's trying to make Kanye West and Candace Owens the evil people over tweets, right? And her point is, you're talking about tweets, but we're talking about people actually carrying these things out, actually bombing and killing innocent people. And you're up here questioning her about a tweet. But you have no questions towards the people who are killing innocent children. You can't make this shit up. And look at his face. He's baffled. He can't believe that she's asking him this. He ain't really baffled. He's just been paid off. It is what it is, man. Blood clot. Let's go.
Jewish people or Jewish people as a whole, I don't remember the exact tweet. You just said that you felt that was clearly anti-Semitic, and now I'm asking you, is it clearly racist? What is it clearly when a Jewish man says to a black man, okay, that they're going to drug them out of their minds, effectively MK Ultra them, and your visits with your children will never be the same? Because if you're asking me between the two, which is worse, it's obviously what Harley Pasternak wrote to Kanye West, which was not reported in the media.
Because he didn't put that in the tweet.
Okay, but Kanye tweeted it. Kanye tweeted it publicly. What Harley Pasternak
said. He did after the furore blew over his original tweet.
But why didn't it trend? Why wasn't there the same outrage?
He didn't talk about one Jewish person. He talked about Jewish people.
I am asking you why the public was not as outraged as when somebody threatens to drug someone out of their mind as a very serious, real threat. And it was the same person, as he said, was the person who first put him in the hospital the first time.
Right.
You seem to be okay with it. You're just sort of like, well,
no, of course I'm not okay with it.
His tweet was so much worse. You're talking about taking away somebody's kids, putting them into a hospital and drugging them out of their mind. Where is your outrage?
I do not know the background to what you're saying.
Why does it seem to be that is always the circumstance? Like whenever
Candace, with respect, you are deflecting
about how they're being threatened. No.
For some reason.
Wow, you see, now he's going to try to say she's deflecting. She's getting to the point. She's cooking. He can't handle it, and now he's going to say, "Oh, you're deflecting." Typical liberal tactics. Let's go.
You don't want to.
Piers, this is very important. Let me finish this. This seems to be a trend that I have recognized. I saw this with Rabbi Shmuley. For 2 years, okay, this rabbi openly threatened me, my family, my livelihood. Him and his daughter did this for 2 years. There was no outrage. None. Zero. In fact, you booked Rabbi Shmuley, didn't even ask him about it. Did you threaten again? And then all of a sudden, I do nothing. And the full media is accusing me of anti-Semitism. Why does there seem to be this double standard that specific Jewish people, if they want to, can threaten the lives of black people, specific black people? I'm giving myself as an example, and there's not the same response. Like, why wasn't Rabbi Shmuley trending for 2 years?
You know what's funny to me, man? A lot of you niggas seriously try to call her a coon. But you can't. And especially you grown ass men. Most of you grown ass men don't have the balls to say what she's saying right now. But you'll turn around and call her a coon. And call her a bedwitch. When she ain't that. Because she's riding for Kanye West right now. Man, let's go.
Over what he said about
I don't really, to be honest with you, we're going to come to Rabbi Shmuley, and I might share a lot of your views about Rabbi Shmuley. But the point that you seem to be wanting to move on from and deflect from.
I'm not moving on from it. I'm telling you that I had more information.
Your response was to Kanye saying, when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
Piers, you've said this 3 times, and we
I know,
talked about it 3
because you
times.
don't
I think
want to
your
answer the
audience is getting
question.
bored. I told you the reason why I said that is because I was aware of multiple people in his life that were doing something. There's no point in belaboring the point. I've answered your question.
I'm simply
you cannot
asking
accept
you.
it.
I'm simply asking you, when you say if you are an honest person, you did not think this tweet was anti-Semitic. You're saying that I'm dishonest because I believe what he said was anti-Semitic. And I think that's ridiculous.
I am saying that, well, first off, just to start back at the beginning of this interview, I think you're dishonest for a lot of other reasons. So please don't harp on this one tweet. But because you flip-flop on your positions the entire time.
Yo, let me stop you right there. I'm going to tell you why she's a beast at debating. So, number one, yes, Piers has a point. She definitely just did deflect. But he gave her the ammunition to deflect, and this is why she's a master debater. Pause.
I got that thug in love.
I don't even know if that was a plausible offense, but whatever. However, she gives him so much ammunition to deflect with, she's gonna take it and use it against him all day. Now, granted, if I was her, I would have met that question head on. I would have said, no, I don't think it's anti-Semitic, because if you look up what DEFCON means, it means it's a defense mechanism. So how am I being anti-Semitic when I'm saying I'm on defense mode from certain people? It's funny because as black folks, we can get on TV all day in the paint and say the same thing about white people, and nobody will bat an eye. Matter of fact, you'll get a Nobel Peace Prize. You get a Medal of Honor for saying this shit. But the minute you criticize the people that they're talking about right now, it's a huge problem. I've talked about this a bunch of times on this show already, so I know you get the point. Let's go.
Fine, that's the reason why I tweeted those things about you. But everything, COVID, you flip-flopped on COVID, you flip-flopped on BLM. At one minute you were supporting BLM, and then you're like, my son's out protesting, it's amazing. And then when they're burning stuff down, I don't find you to be someone that actually takes meaningful risks and says what you believe. You kind of take both positions all the time.
Well, actually, I'm not an ideologue about any of it.
So don't pretend that the first time I ever suggested you were dishonest.
I'm not an ideologue about any of these things. Right, so you want me to be an ideologue? You want me to stick to one side on everything?
No, I'm just saying that it seems like once the conversation cracks, and this is a lot of people in media, they don't take risks. They deliver the government talking points, and then they move once it kind of becomes okay to question the government. So, COVID, this was the prevailing narrative. You were like, get the vaccine, da-da-da, if you don't do the vaccine, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden now we're finding out that, and you would have called someone like me, what, anti-vax, trying to kill someone, all of these things. Well, I didn't get the vaccine. My family didn't get the vaccine. And now we're on the other side of this thing and people are like, well, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe I have some regrets.
What do you think I've expressed regrets over?
Going with the mainstream narrative in the beginning.
Don't just keep talking. What do you think I've expressed regret about with COVID?
Well, let me ask you, are you still standing by all the stuff you said about people being idiots for not getting the vaccine?
Yeah, the only thing I changed, because the scientific advice changed, and I've accepted that if there was another health pandemic, I would not rush to accept scientific advice in real time as actually 100% irrefutable, never to change, because science evolves, and especially in a health emergency. The one thing I have said I changed my mind over, because the science advice changed, was that originally they advised that if you had the vaccine, then you could not transmit the virus. And I was then very censorious towards people who simply refused to have the vaccine, because I said, it's not about you, it's actually about your ability to transmit it and maybe infect more vulnerable people. And I thought it was selfish.
Well, that's a pretty big change.
Well,
Piers,
hang on, let me finish. And I was very censorious, way too censorious. I've admitted that. Shouldn't have been so censorious. And when the science advice changed and said, actually, there's now evidence that suggests, and in fact, it looks clear, the evidence, that if you have the vaccine, it makes little difference to your ability to transmit the virus or not, then I changed my position. And when I was asked...
Do you hear the idiocy in this point? He took all of that time just to still sound like an idiot. They lied to you about what it could do. So you admit, okay, they lied about that. But now you're still promoting the other lies, which is telling you that it would have saved your life. Newsflash, that's also a lie. The whole thing is a lie. As a matter of fact, most of the people I know who died of COVID post-vaccine were vaccinated. Let's go.
Asked about that later, I said, absolutely. I should not have been so censorious to people who didn't have it, because at that point, it becomes personal choice. But if you ask me on the wider picture, do I think the COVID vaccines were a good thing? Absolutely. Do I think they saved millions of lives? Absolutely. Do I think the deliberate attempt to discredit all science involved in the COVID pandemic is a dangerous, dangerous thing for society? Absolutely. Do I know lots of people who died from COVID who would potentially have been saved by a vaccine if it had been there when they caught the virus? Absolutely. So do not take my one clarification about the ability of a vaccine to prevent transmission as being some great mea culpa that I think...
That's a huge mea culpa, Piers. That's a huge mea culpa. That's a huge mea culpa. Because that means that you let people to go out and to get an experimental vaccine in their arm and encourage them not to listen to independent voices that were saying, hold on. That's a huge mea culpa. People died from the vaccine. So you're talking about people that died from not getting it. There have been scores of people who died from the vaccine. There have been scores of people like my grandfather who got the vaccine and then were dead within 1 year because it led to their dementia suddenly spreading or advancing. Stop. I let you speak about your mea culpa.
You do not know that was down to the vaccine, do you?
Okay. First and foremost, they have admitted so much. They lied about the 6 feet social distancing. That just came out 2 weeks ago. And you were on the side of all of these people. So don't pretend that that's a small mea culpa. People died from blood clots pertaining to the vaccines that you were telling them to rush out and get, okay?
People died
had they have waited and perhaps listened to independent voices who understood that there was some government. No, I like...
Yo, also another interesting thing, like, she sat there and let him talk for 4 or 5 minutes straight, run his mouth. It's her turn to talk, and then he just wants to cut her off.
I let you talk about your mea culpa. Had they have paused and listened to independent voices who have, I think, probably a greater strength when it comes up to standing up to government initiatives, because we recognize that the government is not trying to save our lives. Maybe those people would be alive. Maybe my friends who had miscarriages and my friends who were saying that it was impacting their menstruation until the government was ready to admit that 7 months later. If you had listened to people that were telling you their own experiences. Someone I know that went completely blind in one eye because of some weird ocular clot. So don't pretend that's a small thing. I just want to say, I'm happy to accept that you've changed your mind.
Let me respond.
But don't pretend it's a small thing. People died from the vaccine.
Let me respond.
And by the way, I want to be clear for people watching this. He's saying still get it. I'm saying still don't. Just so you can hear a different opinion. Do not allow the government to put that in your arm.
Okay.
God's system works. The government is not fixing you in any regard.
And do you feel the same way about the flu shot?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I haven't gotten a flu shot since I was like 12.
Okay, and things like polio and measles and all the other shots.
Yeah,
that
I don't just, let's skip to the point. You might know this. I don't vax my children. They are not vaxxed. We travel the world. My children are never sick. I am proudly, as you media terms it, anti-vax. I'm very aware of the psychological wounds of coming up with names for people for making sensible decisions. I don't believe, Big Pharma is not God.
I understand.
Okay? She is barbecuing this dude. All right, I'm gonna play a couple more minutes of this, and then we're gonna close this out.
Big Pharma is very much, in my view, getting in the way of God's designs.
I fundamentally listen. I absolutely respect your right to do what you want for your children. I did the complete opposite for mine. I believe that all vaccines carry risks. By the way, paracetamol carries risks. Ibuprofen carries risks. Any medication, you will find instances of side effects and deaths. Every medication in the world that's ever been created. But do I think overall that COVID vaccines saved millions of lives and were an incredible thing done at warp speed in the middle of a desperate pandemic that was killing thousands of people every day? Absolutely, I do. So you and I will disagree about that.
You're just simply wrong.
Well, you and I disagree about that.
We're never going to agree on it. Yeah,
okay.
100% disagree on that.
But here's the beauty. We don't have to agree about it.
That's right.
Right?
But I wish that when you said you were being censorious, I wish that you would have allowed people who strongly disagreed to present their arguments at that time, because I think that a lot of people who are now struggling and getting blood clots and things of that nature, their lives could have been saved.
I don't disagree with you. I had a lot of people around me dying from COVID in the most hideous, horrendous circumstances. The co-presenter of the show, the morning show I was doing, her husband went into a coma and never really came out of it, and sadly died a few months ago after 4 years. Right? Had there been a vaccine when he got the virus in March in the first wave, he might well have lived. And that,
I don't think the vaccine would. I personally don't believe that the vaccine would have saved him, and it's an impossible metric to know.
Because you don't think the COVID vaccine saved any lives?
Because I genuinely do not believe that the COVID vaccine saved any lives.
You see, I'm sorry, you're a smart person, Candace.
So it's going to be a very, very pivotal part of the conversation right here. He's going to make a statement that's going to bury him for the rest of the conversation. She's going to crush him, and then that's going to be the conclusions.
You cannot.
Thank you.
You cannot believe that the COVID vaccines saved no lives. That is a ridiculous thing to say.
It's not. You can't just because you're saying ridiculous and just because you're using a little hyperbole doesn't make that real.
Every single scientist in the world. There is not a scientist or doctor.
You just said the science changes.
Hang on.
Literally 5 minutes ago.
Let me put a question to you, then you can answer it. Every single scientist and doctor in the world that I'm aware of agrees that vaccines save lives. They may disagree about various points of government behavior during the pandemic. They may disagree about this particular vaccine or another one. What none of them have said is what you've just said, which is it never saved any lives. None of them.
I just want to be clear.
Only you
Whenever
think
you're
it saved
claiming
no
that
lives.
there's 100% scientific consensus, you're lying. Whether you're talking about climate change, if you make a declaration that there's 100% scientific consensus.
So, and I can stop him right there. If you look at this book right here, this book came out during the pandemic. All right, The Bodies of Others by Naomi Wolf. I met this woman along with a bunch of other doctors who were against the vaccine. Other side, they had a whole damn convention at this hotel I was at downtown about this. So I don't know, man. This Piers Morgan is 100% of the doctors and scientists on the planet said this. Come on, bro. This is where he went totally wrong.
On something, you're simply lying. And by the way, if people, let me lie. So I'm just going to correct your lie by pointing people to websites that can dispute this narrative. It's a fashionable one to say 100% of experts. That is,
let me ask you a
as soon
question.
as somebody tells you there's 100% scientific consensus, they are lying to you.
Let me ask you. Can you name me one professional doctor or scientist who genuinely believes, like you, that the COVID vaccines did not save a single life?
I can point you to many because there are anti-vax doctors.
Can you name one?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm going to point to an entire website because this is actually important because RFK Jr. has played a very large role in my awakening about vaccines and my decision not to vaccine my children. I recommend you go to the long list of doctors, children'shealthdefense.org. That is his charity. And they have multiple doctors listed. You can also go to Dr. Green Mom's website if you want a list of doctors who do not vaccinate.
I'm going to stop it right there. Like I said, I'll put the link to the entire conversation in the description. But yeah, man, there we have it. Candace Owens is on a mission. And real talk, I got more respect for Candace Owens than I have for about 90% of the men out here, period. This woman has no cut cards and is willing to put everything on the line for what she's got to say and who she's going to say it to. And you got to respect that. And you know, what also annoys me about the people who hate on Candace Owens, specifically the black ones. Y'all love to call her a coon and a self-hater. But look how hard she went for Kanye. That's why I respect her more than I respect most black men. When Kanye spoke out against the record industry and the ethnicity that has a chokehold on it, there was zero rappers, with the exception of maybe Dame Dash, who came to Kanye's defense or who would have even tried to halfway validate what he was saying. Funny though, when Kendrick went at Drake, a bunch of them niggas came out the woodworks ready to go to war with Drake. Calling a culture vulture, white boy, all this shit. But when it comes to the real deal, when it comes to the real culture vultures, right? Them niggas was silent. Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, ASAP Rocky, all these vloggers and bloggers, nobody was ready to address the real vultures. But little old Candace Owens rode for that man. And you clown ass niggas out here calling her a coon. I swear, black culture is ass backwards. You got a strong majority of the men at the forefront of the culture scared to death to tell the truth, but yet the one chick who will is considered the enemy. So I'm convinced you niggas is unsavable. But what do I know? So this is what we're going to do. I am going to drop the link to call in the Twitter chat, in the YouTube chat, and in the Facebook chat. And if anybody wants to call in and give your 2 cents, I will give you your time. All right, so what we're going to do is, hold on, give me a second. Let me get this link. All right. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Hold on. And if anybody wants, hold on. Here we go. All right. Link drop. Oh, you know what? Let me go over to Twitter and do that too. Sorry. Dropping shit in X. Give me 1 second, people. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna drop the link in Twitter. All right. And we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And we'll get to the calls. All right. All right, so we're back. We're back from that brief commercial break. It looks like we don't have any callers, and that is fine. So we'll go ahead and close out the show. So, for myself and the rest of the crew here at Trippin' Ain't Easy TV, peace out. We will catch you tomorrow on episode 68. Other than that, I got nothing else for you, man. Peace. Have a good one.